Hi guys, Sarah from Miko Blue Tiny Living. I'm sitting in the car because for once we're actually early for something. So we're sitting in the car and I just had this thought pop into my head. I wanted to do a video for you guys. I've been seeing a lot in the media recently, tiny houses are gaining a bit of attention. And one of the really common rebuttals, I guess, to this attention is it's just an expensive caravan. So I wanted to take a moment just to give my opinion on what the difference between a tiny house on wheels and a caravan is, and where their differences lie and their benefits lie, so why you might pick one over the other. So with a caravan, they're built to be lightweight, they're built to travel. So you'll find that their materials are usually things like plastic and aluminium, which makes them very lightweight, but from an environmental point of view, you can take a bit of an assessment of this and feel if you're comfortable with this, both from the resources point of view and also from the chemicals point of view as well. So there's that to consider. They're also, being so lightweight, they're a lot more affordable to travel with. And inside, they're definitely built to travel as well. So stepping inside a caravan, I don't feel at home. It's very, not sterile, it's different from being sterile, but it's very neutral. Like, there's no personality to it, it's very plain. They're built as a temporary, portable home to travel in. They're not built as a home, I guess. They're just a temporary accommodation. The other thing with a caravan as well is the price. Yes, they are, I mean, they're still expensive, but they're probably going to be cheaper than if you were to buy a tiny house on wheels from someone else. Now, if you look at the DIY cost, you'll probably build a tiny house for cheaper than what you can buy a new caravan. But if you're comparing like for like, new tiny house compared to new caravan, yes, they're going to be cheaper. So where I see caravans as a really good option for someone is if they do want to go tiny to travel for a period of time. It gives them that freedom and that flexibility. It's all done for you, it's all registered, everything meets standards. It's going to be really simple and easy to travel for a couple of years, sell it, put it on a block, whatever you want to do, and move on to the next phase of life. Now, tiny houses, where I see tiny houses is really different. First of all, it's in the materials. So they're built very similarly to a house. You've got a stud structure generally, although there are different methods of building them as well. But they're a lot more solid. They've got more insulation. They're going to be warmer. Caravans are not built with a lot of insulation in them. So tiny houses, they've got more solid materials. They've also got a lot more personality. So they take into account your lifestyle, your personality, what you need from a home, and that gets built into your tiny house. So they've got a lot more personality. I step into a tiny house and I feel at home. They're built exactly for your needs and your lifestyle. But those materials and all of those features and, beautiful kitchens and things like that, that adds weight. They're heavier, but they're going to last a lot longer. So being built to those building codes means they're probably going to still be around if they're built well. Now, this is where you've got to look at, if you're DIY building, make sure you're using good standards, good structural plans. You're doing it properly, because you still want this to be standing in 30 years time. You look at the way a house is built, you want to replicate that sort of level of integrity in your building, and the same with the integrity to the trailer as well. So you need it to be, it's a road vehicle, and it needs to be attached to the trailer in such a way that going along the road at 110 km/h, it's not going to, lift up off the trailer. So these are some of the differences, is the structure is a lot bigger, a lot heavier, a lot sturdier, which makes it warmer. There's a lot more personality, and they're built for a longer lifespan. They're built for longer periods of living and also for longer lifespans. So where I see tiny houses as the perfect option is if you're looking at going tiny, either short term or long term, maybe a couple of years, maybe longer than a couple of years, but you're looking to live in it full time. You're looking for the ability to relocate sometimes to give you flexibility, but you're not looking to travel. This is where I see tiny houses being the perfect solution. Now, with tiny houses, you've got the option of DIY building. Now, people are DIY building for, I've seen people do it for $25,000 using all reclaimed materials. We sort of fit in the average. Most tiny houses that I'm seeing built are going for around the $35,000 to $40,000 mark. That seems to be pretty average for a DIY build. If you want to get one new, something about like what we've got, so if you've seen the photos of our house, if you're looking at something like that new, you're probably looking at closer to the $100,000 mark. So, this is where some of the differences are with caravan versus tiny house. I told you we're in the car. Caravan versus tiny house, and the options between DIY and having it built for you. So I hope that clears up a few things. So no, I don't think that tiny houses are just expensive caravans. I do think they're very different. I think that the temperature and also the protection from the elements, mold exposure, things like that are different, and their livability is different as well. So I hope that clears a few things up for you. I hope you've enjoyed that. Give me your feedback. Bye.